This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Dumelang, hello, and welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. Always an honor. We've been doing this now together. We're getting to the end of our fourth year now. It's been a delightful experience. Always an honor to come to you and share these wonderful nuggets. We try to bring you life-changing and impactful business education. And I have the good fortune of having on the studio today Gugu Mavuma, media personality, philanthropist. There's so many other titles he has which he will share with you. But for now, can I just ask you to hit the notification bell and to strike the subscribe button? We need your support. Without your support, we are nothing. Mavuma, welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom.
Say, how are you?
I'm all right.
I'm
Yourself?
lovely. I always say complaining is old school. We don't do it anymore. We just run with what we have. But before we begin, I'd just like to say thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
I did say earlier on, Giri, they say for your success, always surround yourself with people of substance. And we put out, how do you get a chance to sit across the table? I'm privileged, and I've learned a lot by following what you do over the years.
Okay.
And you've always kept that basic standard that of professionalism.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
that's very, very important. I'm
it's
here to
an
learn
honor.
more.
That means a lot to me and much appreciated.
Yeah.
Let's get the ball rolling by you sharing that condensed CV of yours.
CV we don't know what is it. CV, is it combined with experience or what?
Yeah.
But some of the things come out of experience. I don't like using the word mistakes, but I've resorted to using the word bad choices. That a lot of people now, a mistake you justify. A bad choice is you got up and you saw yourself going through that line, and that you had a chance to retract and you didn't. But at the end you realize.
I guess I just want to know your background in terms of education.
Yes,
as academics and stuff
academics, looking at from UB, deferred from political science. We get my idea at a young age. Went to University of Botswana, but before that I started working at Spur as a waiter, do you believe, at the age of 15.
Wow.
Throughout my years, Gogo GSS, I was living off my tips. At times in the Catholic Doji Prepe, just to go and make a few dimes. But over the years, going through different courses, going through, life empowerment sessions, and ending up in the business fraternity. You learn how to survive, and everything just goes into auto mode.
Why did you choose political science?
I didn't choose political science. I'm a creative. My DNT days, I was one of those people who take the DNT best performer. The certificate, the awards.
I can't remember the name of that.
I was one of those, and I
performance awards of some kind.
Yes. So I thought I'd go down those lines of even science awards and sports. As a very sporty person, I was very competitive. I don't like being number two.
Which sport?
I was in the team swimming team. I was in the captain of the softball team. I was a tennis team.
Wow.
Basketball team, soccer team. And I'd like to.
Just talent.
I think it's out of being competitive.
Yes.
And like I said, I don't like being second best. It's either winner takes all, or I don't even go for it. And that is why Mavuma, describe yourself. And I wouldn't say Mavuma is this simple person who does. No, I am not an empty vessel. I give 110% to what I do. I believe I'm an extremist. That's why it's very dangerous at times to be an extremist.
Yeah.
Because you overdo. When you get get happy, you get over happy. When you get sad, you get extremely,
Sad.
and you get angry. And, when I wish I could say to my 21-year-old self, or if I could go back, don't even start lifting or opening that first bottle of alcohol, because when, like I say, when you do start numb, and I go overboard.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the things that.
So you say you didn't do political science. You did what instead? You studied political science.
Yes,
but it was just to get the degree
to go on for that. That's why I said I deferred, and then went on to business.
Oh, I see. Okay,
went on to business, and back then it
so
was.
So that would be a Bachelor of Business Admin.
Yes, but generally now, what I would like to go back into is I've always wanted to be an architect.
Yeah, okay.
And regardless of how many years they told us Horeka Nayalo, I just said to myself, one day. I'm gonna go back and do my degree in architecture.
It is still in your bucket list.
Without a doubt, I still intend on going through that. That route.
All right. Now, what led you to this particular sit down?
With all the bad choices in the past, because of what society perceives, that some things are difficult and they are time consuming. I got to realize that, and I followed that perception. I could have been very far, and I'm very passionate in trying to teach those who are coming from behind or who haven't gone through some of the bad choices I've made to actually listen down to say, I mean, this is a very huge platform, which I really appreciate and understand my story, and if they can relate to some of the things I speak of, they should not really. One, don't beat yourself up, and two, don't even try and compromise and say, you have to go through certain things to learn. That's not true. That is not true. Either learn from someone else and don't go through certain routes.
Yes.
So are you trying to say as a girl child, yes, I'm supposed to fall pregnant to know that I'm not supposed to fall pregnant as a teenager?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. So instead, listen, learn, go through Malatinga. Don't just sit down and go through TikTok or YouTube for, or how do I polish my, look at, find experience. Nuggets of wisdom. It's there. This is what you're talking about.
Thank you so much.
It's very, very straightforward.
So in your case, what would you say was the mistake, if any, or the significant one that impacted your trajectory or your route?
I think trying to do 100 things at a time. We didn't have the opportunity of sitting down and being guided in some of the decisions that we'd like to go through. I mean, I started TV at the age of 21. And I didn't even study anything to do with media at that time. I used to watch Bo, SABC, your presenters, your continuity presenters, Bozandi Hlapo, and I used to sit down and say, wow, I'd like to get to do that, because they looked like they were having fun. And I remember standing in front of the mirror and literally introducing programs. And I was such a go-getter that as soon as BTV opened, I went straight there. When can I do this? Because I can see you don't have continuity on air. And I remember there was a time Ronaldo audition, and there were about 1,500 people, and I got,
this was around 0102.
Yes, around
That's interesting.
So. Once I was chosen, it was overwhelming. It was amazing. It was, you won't even believe that back then we were not really getting paid that much. And when I say that much, I'm over exaggerating. We were getting paid literally nothing.
What shows were you?
I did continuity, where you introduced the next coming show, and nearly 6. I remember it was me, Dolly, Refilwe, Boniface, Le Maseo, and I was the 6th, and we were our little gang of 6. We were invited to events. We got to enjoy the experience, but the guidance and the perks that come with getting so much attention, we didn't realize then. We were enjoying.
So there were no guardrails, as it were.
But there was one person. There were actually You know, when Mentuara was always trying to keep us on track. Kitso Musimang.
Yes.
She was rigid. She was tough. She didn't mind telling us, "We're born. If at all you can't do this, I'll replace you in a heartbeat. So be the best person you can be." And yeah, that's what kept us on rail. But it's not always the case.
Yeah.
We used to slip a lot. We used to let the attention get to our head. But had we had more of understanding where this can take you, I think we would have taken it more
So
serious.
apart from the continuity, you then did what after that?
I did Coca-Cola Cool Cash. I got invited back for more.
What is that?
Cool Cash was a Coca-Cola competition where where you bought a Coke can, you take off the cap, and then you're told to put, if it's written something, you put X number of caps in an envelope. That's your entry, and then you're called in. Where Coca-Cola Cash for money, where you got into a little vacuum that went around, and as many notes that you caught, you get to take them. Then we moved on to other programs like Maropeng Hwa Abuelo, which was that one was under Provision Media, but also aired on BTV, where we are just trying to align modern day scenarios with our culture.
So you will go to the villages and
we did. We went to
the old folks.
We actually took 6. Model C. 6 batho ba toropo e be re ba tsaya re ba isa ko Morakeng, and the game was to do Setswana related tasks, where ne re ba ruta gore okay lobo la giwa yana go gamiwa yana go thapu dipele. But so we gave them those kind of challenges, and it was quite hilarious, and yeah, it went really far. But unfortunately the team didn't stay for long. Others had to travel, others moved to their own personal agendas. Then there was another one called Bonang. That one was a lifestyle magazine and TV show. But the main show that really put me on the map, and I'm still buzzing over it. Gig Primetime Live. We started Primetime Live. And
it ran for quite a while.
It's still running, if I believe so. But we spearheaded it. It took us places. It taught us a lot. We got to see many places. Mogotswana. We got to visit many.
Is it mainly about lifestyle and what?
It's a lifestyle magazine program. We covered different types of events, whether it was government, personal events. But it was.
And you were part of it for how long?
I'm still a part of it personally. Inside, I look at it and I'm like, I'm
created this.
That is, I was a part of where it is now. But I think we were
the physical part.
I think it was. I can't even put my finger on, because it's still confusing. The time when I moved on to the other shows, some people, I think now it's over 10 years, prime time. But some people can still relate with you're not telling the truth, because I haven't been there for over 10 years.
The new guy looks a bit like you.
No. Prime time. It's like, it seems like yesterday. But I think I haven't been there for 10 years. But I think we were together for a good 5-6 years, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was very, very good memories that taught me a lot. And then I moved into the acting scene. The acting scene, I was still moving along with the philanthropy part. It really assisted, because I had to remember that a lot of people see me as a role model. And a lot of people who are in the media, in the public eye, don't understand what being a role model means. The people who are looking at you will literally emulate everything that you do, whether positive or negative. They think it's great on their side. I could tell you, we used to be so rebellious, because Tupac, and we would think, when a person's angry, this is how you express yourself. And at the end of the day, years later, they actually the hip hop scene actually get to go back and show you that was not the way to behave. Now you need to change your way of thinking. And I was really happy this hashtag mindset change.
That came from the president's
Yes,
speech, right?
yes, that one is I think everyone was looking for that word, but lack of a better word, everyone was all over. But and we want to. This is what we are hoping
It's
that
supposed to be driving the country.
that is my passion, especially when it comes to youth. But
But don't you think somebody has to define it clearly? We're going from this mindset, which didn't work out for us because of 812, and we're moving to this mindset, which we believe will work for us because of 123. Has that education really been embarked upon by government or by all the stakeholders?
I think that one comes about to where individuals want to drive the initiative itself. It's very, very huge. It's very diverse. It's got many things on it. It's got many for different people. It's different approaches. That is why each and every person has to stand up and assist in driving mindset change, because at different households, at different levels, in different offices, it's different for everyone. Your experience might not be the same as mine. Looking at the level of understanding that you might have, whether it's whether it's socially, whether it's financially, whether it's academically, it's so different countrywide. It's got many. So we need to all join hands and say, let us try and drive in that particular direction. We're going to use your artificial intelligence. AI. You're looking at the use of social media. This is what we're doing now. Social platforms. Some sectors are actually starting to suffer because of what we are now using as mobilization platforms. You're going to start, and you're talking about the elderly. They also need a different mindset change. The youngins, they also need a different one. The business sector, they need a different media. We won't reach it. So I don't think yena formulation. That's why how are you going to strategize and tackle it? And it just shouldn't be about financial gain from other people who will sit down and say, I want to do this to get this out of it. For you
yourself, Mavuma, what was the turning point? If you could give us an idea of the before and after scenario for you, was there that aha moment when
I think
there a number of them?
I was gonna get there. I won't say it was one. They say you get so many chances, and we don't realize that so many chances can mean you don't know when your last chance is. So firstly, when I gave myself my life to God, that was a turning point. But it was encouraged by my mother. But then again, I had another turning point when my father passed away in 2001, which
he's a good man.
Victor was amazing. He's amazing because
it was my client.
Yes, is because of him. He's always by my side. It's like yesterday, but this was 2001. 2023. It seems like yesterday.
22 years back.
But he passed away. He was the kind of person where he didn't know how to say no. He'd rather say maybe. I know he can't do it, and he'd wipe his face and try and hope that I don't bring it up again. And he did everything. I remember some of these things I don't understand why he did them, but when I was turning 16, he went to the Omang offices, got all the paperwork, filled it out. I had to just sign. He would do everything to try. But one thing it still pains me now. Our parents did not teach us the hardship. They always gave us the better side, the better version of everything.
There's a tendency to try and avoid the hardships that we ourselves suffered.
I just wish it was different. I think I could have turned out very different right now if I knew.
If you had tasted a little hardship.
Just a little. Just a little.
Yeah.
We don't even know anymore. But he passed away when I turned 18 on the 7th of January, and he passed away just a few weeks later. So I'm learning new things. I have to stand in lines. It was.
So you tasted hardship.
And again, dealing with being in an age of peer pressure. I started saying, had I known, if I could go back and said to my old self, don't even try that one, because it's cost me so much.
How has the alcohol cost you?
I've totaled cars. I've missed out interviews. I've been in unnecessary fights. I've made the worst choices anyone can make.
Really, I'm not aware of that.
Yo. Like some I can sit down and say, these things were not necessary. But right now, had I gone down that route, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, our country is not limiting, life is not limiting, but I could have been one of those people by long. I could have been in helicopters and owning my own 747, but I missed out on so many opportunities because it's either I was too tired to go for it, as to what.
So what's your advice to the listener, or what to avoid, to make sure they don't make those same mistakes? Is it just matter of
this mindset change at this point in time is, it's very important to be very rigid on your 2 feet. Understand yourself. But if you're focused and know exactly what you're trying to attain, I'm telling you. In
other words, discover your purpose.
Purpose is very difficult to discover overnight, but at least have a goal that you want to follow. Set that goal and go towards it. And like I'm saying, don't compromise on making those so-called mistakes that you have to learn from. No. Avoid making those bad choices. That a bad choice, you can see it's a bad choice.
Yes.
You can always see it. You know the outcome. But you go ahead anyway. And then, no, it was a mistake. It was not a mistake. It was a bad choice. You also plan a bad choice. I mean, bad choices may come with the bad company, or bad choice within maybe a bad relation that you can see as you can see the signs, you can see the red flags, but you still go on. So alcohol, la batla utlwa motho sente Christian kana motho ya lo tlhaloganya Bible, ha batla go utlwa excuse ya motho ha batla go bua ka gore ke no, Jesus turned water into wine. Those are justifications of a bad decision. You're getting there and you know it's going to end. You know you're indulging, and you've got your car keys in your hand. You know you have to have a designated driver. And you know it's a bad choice. You're walking out, but you're still going to make it. You're still going to go ahead and total your car. You know it's a bad choice. Those are the bad choices that I'm talking about, that really, really, I would say to anyone, firstly, just plan everything you want to. It's not a crime to say, I'm going out, but I'm going to take a cab.
Were you actually involved in an accident as a result?
Many.
Can you share a little bit on one of them?
Many. I remember one was November, the November before November 2000. It was a group of us. It was my best friend. It was a couple of us. We were having a few drinks and we decided to go to Muchudi, and my dad had just bought a new BMW, and it seemed like a good idea at the time, so I had to nag him to borrow me his car. He said no. But at that point in time, I didn't understand why, so I nagged. I don't know why he folded. He gave me his car, and but we were going to Muchudi. As KO'd as we were, we were, received with a hero's welcome because of the car that was arriving, and they were giving us everything. But coming down, I remember that car. This is not over exaggerating, but I remember from Sekelelia Hyundai to Yea BTV, and I put my foot down, and I could see it going from, I don't know, but I remember it was on 200. That short distance. The sunroof was open, all windows were open, t-shirts all over, and
Music
was out loud. And funny part is Baba eating. It was this Sonia TKZ, Little Fella Guy.
yeah.
Little Fella Guy. And I turned to grab the phone at the back. When I turned, Sekeleni said, I think that was 1 point something or 2 seconds or what. I don't even know, because
You were driving.
Yes. I put my foot down, and I remember locking my elbows. No, it's here. It was too soon to me. I couldn't brake. It hit Sekelabi TV. We rolled twice. Holanda on the other side, and I remember the next day I wasn't hurt, but I had to get out limping or some sort for a bit of
aches and
sympathy, you know. And Harry Latela I want to go police the next day. Everyone was standing there. No, but one more thing, they must be dead. Then we're standing there because it was
all of you.
All of us.
So because it spit you out, or
no,
you had seatbelts on, or what?
We didn't have seatbelts on. And I don't know the irony behind it, because one of the policemen did say that's what saved us, because the top part was by the headrests. It had gone down. And he was saying, had we had those seatbelts on, it could have been so we were just rolling inside. We were like, thing, and we were just up and about.
Yeah.
And
I think it must have been divine intervention.
I believe that.
Yeah.
He's saved me so many times. I've been in different fights where someone necessary. 21 Jump Street. So I believe at the end of the day, some of those experiences are those that I would really like, whether because after 35 a lot of people are still struggling with getting jobs. So I don't think the problem right now is we need to share experiences on how people can get an income. That
leads me to my next question, which is your current projects. What are you preoccupied with now?
Well, before I get to that one, along the years, like we had spoken about alcohol in an industry where it involves entertainment and meeting new people, you also get to experiment with drugs, which most of us have gone through. And it had absolutely nothing to do with your upbringing or who you know. It's hella entering and trying to fit in. That's why peer pressure of just fitting in. I remember
I've never seen anybody in drugs myself, or even to experiment. I
always say to people that these things were designed by scientists, not a pauper, but a person who knows, if I mix this and someone does this, it's going to affect this part of the brain. And as years we get to research, some of these things were designed for masolo. They should be very alert when they are in the bush. And then someone came to realize, if I take this, I can party for 3 days without sleeping. So that's how it changes everything. Now my story was, I remember I was in I don't want to say names of countries or even entities, but I was in one of our neighboring countries. There were a number of celebrities. Personality, celebrity. They were there. It was fun, and they kept on saying, you Botswana guy, why are you so, try some of this, and there were a few models there who were telling me how stupid I look because I'm just in the corner there, and I ended up folding and trying it out. And now it becomes, if I should tell you, you become a little society, a little family of Halekopana, even these sign languages, you got something, and because it was there. Now when you travel to that country, the first people that you call are those. That's what I want. And now it started cropping into BW, so you don't have to go to another country to find it. That is why it's becoming a pandemic now, and that is why.
Are you talking about crack,
cocaine, everything that is there, but mainly the coke part, cocaine. It's a readily available in a heartbeat. Even there was a time when it was more of a lifestyle. If you weren't, snittles, you were not cool. You walk into a club, and I used to manage a club, Mogaborone, and you could see the little crew yating hale. They thought they were cool because they were doing expensive people's problems, expensive people's problems and how it was. So this is where the passion came about. Even our youngsters are getting consumed, and families are separating because of this, because it's so secret and people don't know. It affects those at a time when it's too late, and we don't have rehabilitation centers. They are readily available, unlike those ones in other countries where
in South Africa,
where you part with woman 20k, and it's not like all families are well off to do that.
Yeah.
So I want to, when you say the current programs that I'm involved in now, I would like to take different avenues, like I'm saying, youth, citizen empowerment. There are other factors, and there are other ways of tackling that one. Instead of hoping that this person can go to rehabilitation, there are other ways that we could help for them to move away. Firstly, it's just for the love of God. Giving yourself to that higher being to guide you. That's
where you now focus on.
That's where you focus. Exactly. And again, understanding that for you to want change doesn't fall on your lap. You have to want to change. You have to really desire that change. Whether we're talking about alcohol, we're talking about substance abuse, we're talking about tired of being broke, you have to step up. You have to be there. You have to be part of the game. Not everyone else around you trying to get you to get an income, trying to stop you, trying to stop you.
For you to get out of that scene, cut out those friends and stop asking for these things, you first had to have an encounter with Christ. Is that correct? In your case?
In my case, I think I was very lucky because I think I had this self-pride of myself. Like believing in not only the physical appearance, but just believing in who I am because of background. My family, my mother and my father. Good, so I've always believed in that. Time I blind, or lady who was very principled. I mean, headmistress. And my relatives, all of us, we try and keep up. So I think that was. I mean, I remember my grandma. In the Harrisna Tlapa, Horarbono, Transcoriana didn't sit out. Humpian what Mompoloki, I think gets us a hat to be doing.
Molora, Kibaganya I'm listening. Kibaganya
Humpian, the didn't sit out and get to Tassa, Hatiki pencil and I'm like, no, Narehela hits. You used to do this. So it was one of those things that just happened against Gehodus. So I think once in a while I'd say, you know what, I'm disappointing myself, I'm disappointing my family, and I'll get up and pull up my socks, and it's not very easy especially when you don't have the support, because this is a secret society. Believe me. I mean, you've got
and
CEOs.
They don't want to be really
you've got your
seen,
you've got your GMs, your CEOs, your leaders of industries who are deep. You've got husbands who are deep. You've got the most, all walks of life who are deep.
People.
You will never even believe it, but because it's sort of a secret society, it's very difficult for people to reach out until it's too late. We never knew,
because it drives you to the very edge
until you get to the very edge. So like I'm saying, when you get to realize, when I got married, it was another turning point. I got married in 10. I had 10 years yesterday.
Wow, congratulations!
10-year anniversary yesterday.
Happy belated anniversary.
Yes. And I was blessed with an amazing wife. That's what but the age you were given a wife. You know, and that is why there's some people we put our partners through hell, if I should use that word. And they would say, no, we're surprised that person stayed around for so long. And it offends me so much when someone says that, because it's literally saying when times are hard, they jump ship. You know, so are you disrespecting my person because maybe you are expecting that kind of behavior from ordinary people? So now I'm not with an ordinary person. This person will stick with you through thick and thin. That is exactly what they're doing. They will try and make you feel, be the best person you can be.
Congratulations for lending such a great wife.
You know, and through times when you wouldn't even, but I think, why Azanzalia, you know, and they'll show you I'm a bigger being than you actually thought. So when a person expects them to do this, so
did she find you when you were low? When you
No. I'll be lying. We've always held hands together. It's been a roller coaster. I think she found me. I won't even say that was my peak, but things were not. It was not bad. It was. I mean, at our age, it was. I could afford to take her out to different restaurants, VIP entrances at different outlets. A different side of life that you know. It comes with being a personality.
But she helped in making it undesirable for you to carry on with that crowd, or to even be interested in that those peers who.
It's not even about her making that kind of effort. It was just her being who she is. That literally you need to have those bells, or kind of you're a married man, and then you've got kids now. I mean, these things will drive you to even lose relations with family, with you know, your children, with society, because no one knows. Like I'll keep on going. It's a secret society. This is why I actually try and take passion now to expose some of the signs you should be looking at. Whether it's your son, whether it's your daughter, you'd think even when I get and I'm not being, it just takes one try and game over. They will keep on doing it secretly until
What are the telltale signs?
Telltale signs are just overspending.
They always seem to be broke.
But you know this person has an income, and this person is there, but they're not there. You know, usually they'll come home at around this time, but all of a sudden they can stay 24 hours away, and they come home, they're tired, your 24 hours a day, your 40 then you start saying and don't be afraid to confront a person, because like I'm saying, it's a secret society. They don't want people to know. They don't want to be judged. So if you confront them and try and cut certain privileges that they'll get, especially when you talk about well-off families, you're giving your child or your partner or that kind of leverage of having money at their disposal. You don't understand. As soon as and it's nothing that you could say is off control when it gets to a certain point. And the enemy has entered your household. Stand up and start fight. From that point on, don't even give up. Don't judge. Don't try and isolate them. Don't try and tell them off, because that's when they hide more. That's when they give.
So what is the cure then? Not the cure. I mean the medicine.
For an individual, it's wanting to be the best version of yourself, because that's the worst version of yourself. When you're there and you're going, that's the worst version of yourself, and it will only go deeper and go worse until you are literally left with nothing. And for people who are around those individuals, the best case scenario and the best medicine is to be supportive. Show that person how relevant they are, how important they are, and make them feel very special. They'll start retracting. How the next day. So I'm going with you because you want to keep them away from those kind of people. And I'll tell you this, the people who they usually who are around you, they are very loyal. When you have the money, they're loyal. They will do anything for you. They will they are very loyal. Just know that when you don't have the money, they'll show you you're not relevant. So they'll be very loyal. You know, you can trust them. You know, they will sit with you and they won't judge you. They won't tell you to go home because they know they've got something that they need.
That's great advice. Now, this is an entrepreneurial show, Ramavuma. So let me drag you again to your current projects. I think I'm very, very curious about those.
Yes. One of the major projects right now, we've embarked in is called Serenity, Tranquility, and Recovery, which again boils down to it's not as per se, it's an NGO, but it drives down to getting people off their feet. You know, we're trying
Serenity,
to fix
Tranquility, and
Recovery.
Yes.
It's a trust that we're trying to literally show everyone how important it is to give. Giving, and as you go through that route, you will meet people of interest who you can now venture into business and uplifting yourself in. We've got another podcast that's coming up.
Wow.
I'd love to have you on it. This podcast is called very, very soon. It's called Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told, just like it says. We are not growing.
How soon are we having it on air?
This coming month. This coming month. Yeah, September. We're pressuring ourselves to getting it out.
I think by the time this episode airs or drops, it will be out.
No, definitely, because there's never a tomorrow.
Yes.
Anything that you postpone or rekamoso, it will never work out. So this one is literally, we're shooting from the hip. We're hoping that with the topics that we're going to discuss, it's for growth, it's for recovery, it's for maintaining, it's everything that has to do with what is limiting us in life. And this is where we're shooting from the hip. I'll give you an example. Where would you say gender-based violence begins? During the COVID, and now you are the breadwinner, and maybe you once in a while say, strike something in that person. The only thing that they can do now is show Jejeyabone and their strength over you. So how do we fix that? Cool down for 24 hours. Calm down. Don't engage in arguments. When we talk about marriages,
find long-term solutions.
Try and communicate. Why are marriages failing? No, marriages are failing because of communication. No. Stating with that deeper than that. When we talk about sexuality, if some things are not working, go on the internet. Don't look for Beyonce's 5th award. No. How to spice up my relationship.
Yeah, this information is available.
It's there, but we don't use it. So we're shooting from the hip. And they try and fill that void with going outside of their marriage. If you are married but still available outside, that's a problem. That's why it's failing. You know. So we're trying to also curb those things, but we'll get to hear about it more. And also when it comes to why a lot of people we're talking about entrepreneurship. That's where Mogobe will come in and assist us on that one.
I'll be more than happy.
Yes. And then my passion comes with our company is called Forward Work. Forward work, we are just going forward. We are going forward. So as going forward, I don't know if I said it properly. Okay, going up, but as moving forward, we're going forward. Yes. This is where now, when it comes to the different approach of earning an income, we focus on difference is banana how it's a 34 35 has but you get a 40-year-old struggling who's got kids. This is why our generation is failing our parents.
45.
Funny part is Baba Basha at the age of 50. I don't understand how.
Yeah.
But this is where you get a lot of people who are failing our parents, who are failing our children and our young ones. Because generation struggle. Our generation with this word hustling. Back then, hustling it didn't sound too good.
Yeah, it didn't.
But you say to a person, you need to have a side hustle.
Yeah,
we understand what you mean by that. You can't accomplish your dreams with just an 8 to 5. You need to have multiple streams of income, and it needs to be something. As long as it's legal, you're fine. So this is where we'll have different symposiums. They will have different discussions on how we can share ideas on getting an income. Dishwasher, you are better than the person on Zinghatsi because you will definitely go home with 50 pulak and 100 pul. In 10 days you've made something. In 30 days you've made something. Unlike a person on Nanghatsi and feeling sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
And you
make a difference in your life.
In your life before you try and make a difference in another person's life.
Yeah. What would you say is the current media landscape? As a person who's steeped in media, do you think it's in a positive trajectory? Is it doing well?
Media now is should I say has evolved now, because today's media fraternity have learned that their word counts. Nana Kwarna you had to tread carefully. I mean, say for example, there was a time when you were not supposed to say anything. It was very dangerous around the speaker. You can't speak like that. My point exactly. You know, you were not supposed to say certain things. You were not supposed to do. But today, I feel it has evolved in the sense that now you've got your social media platforms that don't regulate you, that you can literally say what you want to say when you want to say, and truth be told, you shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
You shoot from the hip, and if that doesn't bring change, then there's a problem. So, one platform. Can I get it to when it comes to TV and radio? And then you'd miss a lot of things because things had to be filtered.
So there's been liberalization.
Yeah, it's been
very radical.
Yeah, so I think
it happened so fast.
Very, very fast. So that is why you've got different mediums of getting people aware of what is happening now, and it's uncensored. It's uncensored, and that's the kind of media awareness that we need. That's the kind of journalism that we need. That's the type. I think it's being delivered now, unlike in the past years, especially in our country. So
net is positive.
Very positive on my side, the way I see it.
Well, some of the things that drive you, we've spoken about mindset change, youth empowerment, and citizen employment. I want us to spend a little bit of time talking about that because it is a huge issue. I happen to be of the view that youth have a duty to employ themselves.
Thank you.
That is no longer
Thank you.
permissible for the youth to say, I'm unemployed, so I'm going to sit and wait and march in the streets. So I don't know what your views are and what your charities are doing on that score.
That is why I'm saying on our side we are trying to come up with more ideas of mobilizing platforms that youth/basha. Matata a mo lehatsheng ga se mathata employment, ke mathata a tlala. I will complain because malame ko na complainer. That is why you have these very same drug dealers not complaining. Because they are getting something into their pockets, but by destroying other people's lives. So if you were to sit down and evaluate what the demand is in your community, as monana, as mosha, you find that one thing I think is they've got land, but you have Gugu Mavuma. Me go ntse go buletse di opportunity tse dintsi ya ka di buletse yana gore o ka go lema whether ke ditamati whether ke temothuo is something that is there, but you some people
just lock your mind.
You can lock your mind and say, what I want to do is I want to have an income. I want to make money. I want to do what I plan on doing at that specific time,
I often joke and say, like, people seem to believe that it's better when the money comes every 30 days. What's wrong with it coming at random times? Sometimes in larger quantities.
Yes.
Sometimes in smaller quantities.
True.
The mindset, I have to wait for 30 days for somebody to pay me. That's a very dangerous mindset.
And at the same time, this is where investment boils in. Do you know the joy of getting that payment notification? You
start walking with your chest out.
Something has happened. So you can't live your dreams through an 8 to 5. And 8 to 5, I say it qualifies you for debt. It qualifies you for loans. It qualifies you for aid. But when you are in a position of getting certain things that will service those existing loans, that will service your daily runnings, but keep you at a point in where there is something that is put away, you get to sleep better. If you are to I'll just
don't drive you crazy.
No. By
the way, if I let that person know a meter is no longer what a meter used to be.
No, not
nothing to get excited about. All right. Do you have any political ambitions? If so, are you willing to share some of those? He's laughing.
Okay.
You find this hilarious.
It's very hilarious because I never imagined myself ever even considering anything to do with politics. I've been, like I'm saying, I've been a philanthropist with the little that I have. I would do my level best. If I was to be given that platform to do what I've been doing, but in a more authorized manner, and looking at how some individuals would literally sell them dreams and not deliver, and I feel it's unfair on my side.
Scammers?
No. Some politicians.
Oh, some politicians.
Yeah,
okay.
some politicians. I'm not going to say politicians. I'm going to say some politicians. They're given that trust of, and they do say they can do that, but they don't do that. And they completely go rogue. They're missing in action. They don't take consideration in what they say they'll do, and I feel that's really unfair because but this is why the mindset a politician is like
about
this.
Yourself.
Yes.
Tell me what your ambitions, if any, are politically.
Mine politically are just driving what I've been doing, but in a more authorized manner, like I'm saying, being given that platform of having decisions, of giving a directive of how let's make sure that banana basha at the age of 40 I know it's tough. What is going on? But there are these we need to make things easier for banana we're talking about YDF. Why is it that Monana Bula company with the same amount of money that I'm going to register a company with? Why don't we just make it an easier platform for them to be able to even download those forms wherever they are? Why is it that now we're not focusing on other rural areas that Monano Kwano can get accessibility to certain technologies that they can't get to? So why don't we focus in, coming up with better centers? We've got youth centers around the country, and we come to understand that some of them are not operational. Why are they not operational? And this is why banana they are up and down on the streets. And if we could share those kind of ideas, matata are not employed, matata get matata ke social media, it shows you ba focus on yourself, be who you want to be first. And I come with having that influence of reviving those outstations, of having technology available. It's done online.
Yes.
So expect if it all was trying to get CBD with free Wi-Fi, and what am I doing about it? Keep them engaged. Sports is something that you can live off.
And that man, we're so proud of him.
He's amazing. He's amazing. To actually acknowledge accomplishments. So if we could step away from those things.
So you don't want to come out clearly and say whether you are running, you intend to run. That's why I'm pushing you. I don't know whether you've noticed.
I think I'd be more clear in the next coming weeks. Yes, but I've done the
but
much.
I think politics affords you a special platform.
My point exactly, which I've noticed
in terms of influence.
Which is my point exactly. That's why I feel they are of influence, are not doing what they're supposed to do. They are being fair to, we are being unfair to Botswana. And I feel when it comes to the political aspect, podcasts are coming up. Podcasts are just giving you a platform of hearing, learning. Why are not all these political parties? Who are we dealing with now? BTV
It's exposed a lot of things.
Some of them have even social media has done that. It's exposed a lot of things. But on my side, if I could get that opportunity, I'd jump to it. I'd really, really love to.
Answered my question. I'm happy. I'll gladly vote for you if I'm in
that one is.
Listen, there's a crystal ball that I often ask my guests to look at and look into the future, 20, 30 years, and think in terms of brand. We look at the politician Mavuma, and then of course is also a brand.
Yes.
And then we look at the philanthropist as a brand. Are you able to tell us what you envision in 20, 30 years for each of these brands?
COVID taught me a lot. I think it taught all of us a lot, that we no longer have to have long-term plans.
Really?
Long-term goals. A lot of things were stunted then. Instead, know what you want to do in the next 12 months. What are you planning on accomplishing in the next 12 months? Yes, then you'll go to a year. Then yes, you'll go to 5 years. But we lost a lot of people who are still ironing out the field for themselves. But in 10 years, yes, it will get there where I want to leave a footprint in, especially generation now those coming behind us, 2000, those are solid. Those are solid because they are growing up in times where they have to do things for themselves. That is why they're not afraid to express themselves on social media. They've been given that platform and to venture. They work hard. They try and make things happen. But rona ba ne re tlwaeditse we are fed with a silver spoon. Ke rena ba re nra sokola. Ke rena ba ileng gore Mavuma ha tsogone ya santsa re wa go bankanya CV ya gagwe. Mme gona le bana ba ba nkemetseng go lapeng ba batla go itse gore ke eng motaka so timile go mpieno. You can't wait for that. I need to get out of it. Ke rola dithako be ke re go hale go batla go kubiwa hale. Ke be ke tsamaya ke a go kubia be ke tsa 200. So I want to really leave a footprint and show the youth that it's very, very possible to get an income, to get something that /Basha. Yes, there is.
Can't forget Basha.
You cannot sit down and feel sorry for yourself. This is why the same people, our neighbors who come and knock at the door, do you have anything that I can wash? Do you have anything that I can clean? Hey, Baba, and yet you're indoors. We're now late about, hey, man, 200.
Eventually they get those jobs.
They get them and they go home. They don't sleep, they don't disappoint their families.
No.
But Rona, that element ya gore nna ga nka ke kare ka gore Mr. Mogobe ne ke utlwe go tega gona go pekola peng Rodman kana nna ke gona go tlhatswa koloi ya gago ke go tlhatswa. Can I clean your house? Can I wash your car? O tla ntebogang ka teng. I can't do that.
Yeah, but you've made short-term plans for these organizations. So your plans, you break them down into chunks of time. 12 months. 12 months
are deadlines, not plans per se, but deadlines.
Okay.
Already accomplished this in this amount of time. I mean, I think in the next 2-3 weeks, you're going to hear of a new project that is starting, which I hadn't touched on completely because I'm just waiting for a certain signature, and it's a countrywide venture that is literally going to change the playing field when it comes to our youth. With we come up with initiatives. Malatsing exactly the event it's just about fun. I need the fun aspect to generate bettering lives, whether it's what, and we'd like to keep those kind of initiatives rolling. So let's make it common, guys. A certain percentage of what you make from any event, give it to charity. I gave out, I was sharing a plea from Serenity, or we'd like to ask for, whether it's blankets, whether it's shoes, whether it's next month
instead of giving them to,
many of us have something that we're not using that we pass every single day and they don't care. Maloba, I think last year I gave away 10 suits.
Wow.
It's not a wow. It wasn't a wow.
Were they too small?
Not even.
They're out of fashion.
These suits, neritsi hela pele hela gore suit ga ba para suit le morokhorare stlhako go re tshwantse gore cover stlhako a certain way be se khoma ko tlase ya tsama. And I was at some event. There's this guy called Clint, and he's one of the actors go Movango. I take him as my brother. So na ke ana re ke heta mothakwana nthar ao get the Bermuda. And as that was going on during the video, I can't do Ryan. all of them di sutu di ba tshwere sente ha hona le space ke nelo le ke tsama borokgo ke bo it's flat big okay so the style was outdated but someone said to me when you feel it's outdated but there's someone who will appreciate it so instead of keeping it there ke bone be ke ditsabe ke go di bat the podium ke re I was like this is coming from my heart the next person whether nine ke botse le rileng ene wa go itumela ke sutu dilentseana so
it's a good one
yeah so
yeah
that is my passion now that I just want people to learn from my bad choices and step away from saying it's okay I made a mistake no
it's not a mistake.
A mistake is when oro kwala 3 bo kwala 8 those are mistakes.
A mistake, yeah. So really the takeaway from this interview is that make a distinction between mistakes and choices.
Definitely, that one will
bad mistakes and bad choices.
Bad choices, and just if you are able to do that, there's so much that can be done. You've lost so many things because of your bad choices. You're shown the red flags. You know the outcomes. It's a telemo mo le hokon la modimo ke lo le tla go supentsha gore nya mme hana gone
yeah
go ka nna le mathata but
all right time for you to hit me with a question sir if you have one.
What do I have for Mr. Mogobe? Mr. Mogobe, what drives you? How did you manage to keep it together to get to where Mr. Mogobe is
I've been
now?
very fortunate. I had very good parents and in the early days I was toughened up quite a bit by the fact that even those parents married late. The first 10 years I didn't have them staying together. So that hardship associated with being from a single parent household and then staying with my grandparents. But for greater details, you have to buy my book, which is coming out next month.
Definitely.
And I'll go into detail on that.
Definitely.
I talk about that a lot because I think looking back, it is the thing that has really made me become what I have become. All right, look at that camera, sir, and leave the viewer with one final inspirational message as we get ready to part.
Okay. From my heart to everyone who's watching, everyone who's out there is, be very focused in what you want to attain. Don't compromise in what you believe in, and literally take yourself very, very serious, because a lot of people see what you don't see in yourself, and that is what will ultimately define you as an individual. And know that God loves you. Take care.
That's great. Share all your contact messages, including on social media.
I decided to revamp my page, so you can like my page at Gugu Mavuma BW, and my personal one is Gugu Mavuma. On Twitter, I'm G Mavuma. Instagram, I'm Gugu Mavuma. And what else is there?
There's a new one called Thread.
Yo, not yet.
You'll get
Oh,
there.
and TikTok, Gugu Mavuma.
Yeah.
That one I started during COVID. I was bored and I started playing around with the camera, and I started seeing likes. So,
all right.
And be sure to catch us on Truth Be Told. We will be launching very, very soon, and it's going to be very, very informative. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.